Now we see the module 2 elastic properties, Hooke's law. What is Hooke's law? Hooke is the name of a scientist. Hooke's law states that within the elastic limit of a body, stress varies directly as strain. So a scientist has given a law which is called as a Hooke's law, named after his name, Hooke's law, which he stated that within the elastic limit of a body, stress varies directly as a strain. That is, stress is directly proportional to strain. That is, the ratio of stress by strain is equal to constant, which is denoted by E, where E is called as modulus of elasticity or coefficient of elasticity. Now we see the stress and strain graph, how the graph is been observed and what are the characteristics and how it has been varied. Consider a material subjected to continuously varying load or a stress. If we plot a graph of stress along y-axis and strain along the x-axis, we get the stress and strain graph. So what does the stress and strain graph indicates is, if we keep on applying the load and we see the strain produced, and if we plot a graph between the stress and strain along the x-axis and stress along the y-axis, you get a graph. That graph can be stated as stress and strain diagram. Now if you look at this diagram here, strain is along the x-axis and stress is along the y-axis. Now there are points P, Q, R, X and S. So we'll see what are the different points and how it is behaving as you keep on increasing the load. Now here we can see from O to P, stress varies directly as strain. Clearly you can see here from O to P, as stress is increased, strain also increases. That means stress varies directly as a strain. So it is direct relationship. Stress varies directly as strain from O to P. Therefore, P is called as a proportionality limit. You can see in the diagram P is mentioned as proportionality limit. So the point P is called as a proportionality limit up to which Hooke's law is being obeyed. It is a limit because the Hooke's law is obeyed until the point P. If the stress is increased beyond P, if we increase the stress, that means application of force. If you increase the stress beyond P, the strain increases and reaches to Q. You can see the graph here, the strain goes until Q. Linear dependence between stress and strain is not observed between P and Q. If you see between P and Q, the linear relationship is not been observed between P and Q. And Q is called as a yield point. Any point between Q and S, the body fails to regain its original length if the applied force is removed but travels the dotted line and material is permanent set. Such a deformation is called as a plastic deformation. We have seen in the earlier sessions which do not regain its original shape and size, that is called as a plastic body, and such a deformation is called as a plastic deformation. So Q is called as a yield point. That means and P stress varies with strain, but the removal of the force, it do not regain its original shape and size. So it is set into permanent set. And the material is set into permanent set. Such a deformation is called as a plastic deformation. Beyond S, if you keep on increasing, beyond S, the body is no more single piece. S is called as a fracture point. Between Q and S, it is a plastic range divided into strain hardening and strain softening. If you look at the diagram, you can see P is the proportionality limit, Q is the yield point, and from Q to S, the region is called as a plastic behavior region and it is in the permanent set, and it is divided from Q to S, it is divided into two stages, that is strain hardening and strain softening. From Q to X is strain hardening. From Q to X, you can see in the diagram, from Q to X it is denoted by strain hardening. Here it is strain hardening from Q to X, and from X to S it is a strain softening. So from Q to X is strain hardening with increase in stress. From X to S, material weakens even under reduced stress due to strain softening. So X is called as a ultimate strength. So X is the ultimate strength where it ends up the strain softening and starts the strain softening. So this diagram is called as a stress and strain diagram. Now we go with the strain hardening. What is a strain hardening? We have seen in the before diagram. See here the strain Q to X is called as strain hardening. Now here certain materials that are plastically deformed earlier are stressed again, show up increased yield volume. This effect is strain hardening. So what is happening here? Certain materials that are plastically deformed earlier are stressed again, show up increased yield volume. This effect is called as a strain hardening. It is important industrial process that is used to harden metals or alloys which do not respond to the heat treatment. That means which has been plastically deformed, if it has been again stressed up, it increase the yield point. That means ability to hold is increased. So for industrial metals to make use of, to harden the metals, what will happen after the yield point? If you again stress it, what will happen? They can withstand more stress. So this is very important property. Strain hardening is a process of making metal harder by plastic deformation. So this is the to make the metal little bit strong and harder, we use of strain hardening. You can see in the diagram stress and strain. Here O to P, it is a direct variation and the yield point has been increased. You can see the yield point before is yield, it is denoted by yield point, and after increased stress it has come to U. That means it can withstand more stress by doing this strain hardening. Next is strain softening. For certain materials like concrete or soil, the curve will have a negative slope soon after the elastic region. So what is strain softening? We have seen from X to X in the previous diagram. So for certain materials like concrete or soil, the curve will have a negative slope soon after the elastic region. So negative slope indicates that there is a softening effect of material over this range. If you see the stress and strain, after the ultimate stress, it comes down. The strain is coming down, which becomes, it is a softening effect. So it is becoming soft. So strain softening means it gives a negative slope. Negative slope indicates that there is a softening effect of material over this range. Next is, what are the factors affecting the elastic properties? How can we change the what are the factors affecting the elastic properties? That is, how can we change some of the properties? By some of the activities like rolling, hammering, increasing the temperature, adding impurities and annealing. Now we will see what is rolling and hammering. On the material generally breaks the bonding in the material, which in turn increase the elastic property of a body. So factors affecting elastic property means rolling and hammering. If you roll and keep on hitting it is nothing but, hammering is nothing but keep on hitting the material, or rolling means you can roll it. Material breaks the bonding in the material, which in turn increases the elastic property of a body. Now next is temperature. That means what are the factors affecting elastic property? Rolling and hammering affects the elastic property. Next is temperature. Temperature increase of material generally decrease the elasticity of the material. If you increase the temperature of a material, decrease the elasticity of the material. So it is inversely proportional. As the temperature is increased, elasticity decreases. Next is impurities. Adding impurities to the material may increase or decrease the elastic property of a material. The elasticity of the material increases if the elasticity of the impurity is more than that of a material. The elasticity of a material decreases if the elasticity of impurity is less than that of the material. So here there are two cases. The elasticity of material increases if the elasticity of impurity is more than that of a material. The elasticity of material decreases if the elasticity of impurities is less than that of material. So it should be properly added up. Annealing. Increase the particle size and the material harden, which in turn reduces the elasticity of the material. Annealing is a process of heating at a particular temperature and then cooling gradually. Annealing means it is a process of heating material and then cooling gradually. So what will happen to annealing? Annealing increases the particle size and the material hardens, which in turn reduces the elasticity of the material. So these are the few factors which are affecting the elastic properties: rolling, hammering, increase of temperature, impurities added, and annealing. Thank you. Hope you understand the session.